Çeşmede bulaşık yıkıyordum ve oraya bazı hocalar gelmişti. Benden kimliğimi istedi ve babam...
She wants to keep on telling you her story. Honorable Rectors, Vice Rectors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure and honor for me today to be addressing you on behalf of the Aydın Doğan Foundation. Seeing powerful women leaders from all around the world in one room gives me a lot of hope for the future of women and the world. As the Aydın Doğan Foundation, since 1996, we have been working on education issues and impacted the lives of more than 1 million people in the field of education, especially girls' education. The story you just watched is an important leadership story led by two very strong women leaders. One, at the time, in her early 30s, a young woman, a successful businesswoman in her early 30s, decided that the most important problem, one of the most important problems of Turkey was the education gap between girls and boys, and something had to be done. She was at the time the president of one of the biggest daily newspapers in Turkey, and she made the whole paper, everybody there, work for this issue first and foremost. She chose to partner with another wonderful woman, a professor of medicine, who had dedicated her life to girls' empowerment and to the strengthening of democracy in Turkey. The two of them together really worked miracles. This is a little part of the story. It is very important that 300,000 people went after them. Everybody donated and wanted to be a part of this project. And now these girls that were in the villages at the time are at university, and I will tell you the rest of the story. The Doğan Foundation was one of the partner organizations and biggest funder of this most and well-known effective girls' education movements in the history of the Turkish Republic called Daddy Send Me to School. Mrs. Doğan herself at the time was the president of Doğan Journalism and actually is the woman leader of this very important program. The other professor was, we are very sorry to have lost her, Professor Türkan Saylan. We always remember her with great respect. This movement was supported by over 300,000 people for more than 10 years. It was beyond a campaign, it was a real mobilization of individuals and institutions who wanted all the girls in Turkey to be able to access school. We built 12 schools and 33 dormitories that gave access to thousands of girls from the rural areas to school. And actually 50,000 single scholarships were made available for these girls to complete their education. Similar campaigns also took place during the same time. It was very important to note that the collaboration of NGOs, private sector, media, and the political determination behind all made possible was just a dream turned into reality. The percentage of girls and boys now going to primary and middle school is almost equal, yet this is not enough. As the Doğan Foundation, we have now moved from working on the empowerment and quality of education and life skills necessary for our girls, and also we work on awareness building on gender equality. The village girls living in these dormitories are our specific area of focus, a pilot group for girls' empowerment work. They are supported every year for university entrance examinations. We provide scholarships, mentorships, leadership programs once they get to university, and we also have summer camps for making them better communicators, leaders, and change makers. Another avenue we work on is supporting academic research on girls' education and empowerment. There is very little data, and it's very important that we get more and more information as to what the situation is, what can be done, what can we do, and what will be the end results of all our work. We collaborate with universities also for training the teachers working in these dormitories. Last but not least, we also co-organize a yearly international conference with UNICEF, UN Women, UNFPA in Turkey on the International Day of the Girl Child, 11th of October, bringing together opinion leaders, academia, NGOs, private sector, politicians, girls and their teachers. For us, the Day of the Girl Child is a day to celebrate the success stories of the girls and of those who support them. It's also a day to brainstorm for solutions for the girls who are unjustly left behind and to create awareness on the importance of gender equality, empowerment, and education by reaching millions of Turkish citizens through our media channels and others that follow. 10 years ago, when we started Daddy Send Me to School movement, girls' access to basic education was among the topmost social issues in Turkey. Since then, thanks to Daddy Send Me to School program and other similar campaigns, and the Ministry of Education's efforts, Turkey made a big progress in girls' access to education. At the time, 1 in every girl child couldn't go to school. Nowadays, almost every girl child in Turkey goes to primary and middle school. Again, fortunately, we see that the schooling rates for girls is increasing not only in Turkey, but all around the world. Nevertheless, we are very much aware that girls need much more than merely reaching school. They need quality education, teaching that empowers them, and schools that promote gender equality through all in-school practices and learning materials. Unfortunately, today, different types of discrimination can be seen in schools through the attitudes of families, teachers, school administration, lesson contents, and textbooks. Sometimes our schools perpetuate gender-based discrimination instead of being one of the most important front lines for fighting it. In Turkey, we see that girls who can go to higher education have a 70% chance of joining the workforce. They need smooth transitions from school to work to gain their economic independence and to be empowered young women. Unfortunately, today, only 43% of young women aged between 15 and 29 are neither in education nor in work. This means that almost half of the young women in Turkey are deprived of education and employment. They live their lives in narrow circles, limited with housework, childcare, and socializing only with neighbors and family members. They spend most of their productive years without education or work. Girls need to have self-confidence, self-awareness, resilience, and communication skills to overcome all the obstacles they confront during their education and professional lives. If effectively supported during the adolescent years, they will have the potential to change the world, both as empowered girls of today and as tomorrow's academicians, entrepreneurs, mothers, mentors, household leaders, artists, political leaders, and what more. How do we do that? As NGOs, we can play a critical role on this difficult road. We are more versatile, we have accumulated experience and expertise in many different fields. We can move mountains if we work together. When I say work, it is clear that charity is no more the solution. We must get to the roots of the problems, be strategic and effective. We need more of girl-focused and girl-relevant data. We need to use this data to seek solutions and track progress. We need to create platforms which will give the girls themselves more voice and agency. We need to join our multidisciplinary efforts to strengthen our power for progress and peace. We should learn from each other and communicate and duplicate best practices. Indeed, when we say collaboration, it cannot be limited to the collaboration only among NGOs. We also need to collaborate with the academy, private sector, governments, and international agencies. The 2030 SDGs could be our compass. Lastly, and most importantly, we need girls' empowerment to be an indispensable priority for everyone. It is true that there is still a long way to go for girls' education and empowerment. As the Aydın Doğan Foundation, we are committed to continue until no girl is left behind. We believe that gender equality and women leadership is the key to a more peaceful, just, and prosperous world. Only empowered girls can create and sustain empowered futures. As the saying goes, few are guilty, but all are responsible. If we do not wish to be among the few guilty, we must all take the responsibility so that every woman in the world can stand on her own feet, look at the future with confidence, and together build a peaceful world. Thank you very much.